Hello everyone, Science Viking here, and I'm ready to continue with the next part of our Let's Play of Myth the Fallen Lords. I promise this next level is more interesting.
Sunday, May 23rd, near Myrgard. I think Soulblighter lost his nerve when the Tain shattered. To him, only a few seconds passed between the invocation of the thing and its sudden destruction, while it took us 2 days to escape the caves inside it. Anyway, he didn't stick around to figure out what went wrong. Messengers reached us today saying that Myrgard had lost Myrgard, and that the deceiver crossed the mountains at the Stair of Grief. Worst of all, what's left of the Nine had it out with the head, which had apparently been double-crossing them ever since they pulled it out of the ground last summer. Something like a civil war erupted back west too, as thousands of our own men unexpectedly rose to defend the head. 2 of the 9 were killed, which makes them something like the 3 now, if you also subtract Myrgard and Roy, who did not escape the destruction of the Tain, and the others who have died this year. The only good news is that Ulrich is still alive and will join us tomorrow. This far east, the Dwarves with us are closer to their occupied homelands than any of their race has been in 50 years. Not expecting to return, many of them have decided to give up their lives rather than abandon their country once again to the Goals who have overrun it. What follows is their story.
This is a very unusual level. This is another gimmick level, kind of like how the previous level was a bit of a gimmick level, but this level is a lot more gimmicky, and in my opinion, also significantly more fun. But, as usual, I'm going to quick get us a fresh recording file before we continue, so I will be back in a second. Alright, we are back, and let's continue controlling our invisible dwarf. This is a dwarven pathfinder. He has some other properties in addition to being invisible, which we'll get to later. Basically, you should see his health bar goes all the way up to the top of his character box rather than stopping part way, so he has more health than a normal dwarf and some other properties normal dwarves don't have. Also, the enemy cannot see us, but they can hear us, which means they can hear our footsteps. So, if we walk close to a goal, it might actually change direction and move towards us. This one appears to be doing so. I don't really know how they programmed that. It's actually an impressive bit of programming for how old this game is. The trick is, you just stop moving. When you stand still, the enemy will just kind of wander past you. The thing is, if we either physically touch an enemy or attack, we become visible. And so, you need to be very careful not to bump into any enemies until you're past the point where you no longer need your invisibility. Then it doesn't matter anymore. But until then, you need to be very careful about how you move to avoid bumping into an enemy and becoming visible. Also, if you walk through the water, the enemy will immediately be able to see you because they can see the ripples you're making in the water. So, you need to be careful of that. Though, theoretically, you don't automatically get a game over if you become visible. So you could theoretically just stay visible, or you could theoretically allow yourself to become visible immediately and just try to fight your way in. I've never tried that, but I may try that as a bit of bonus footage. Anyway, so we want to just kind of work our way through here, be careful about how we position ourselves to avoid bumping into anybody. I'm just going to let you run past me. Keep going. Yeah, just like that. Keep going. And now I'm going to get moving. Alright. Another interesting thing about this level is no veterans. We're working entirely with fresh units. Also, there are no Thrall or Myrmidons in this level, I believe. The vast majority of the enemies we deal with are Goals. You would expect this to make things easier. It actually makes them considerably harder for reasons that will become clear as we progress. In the short term, we just need to sneak past here. This is like the Goal thoroughfare, so this is the place where it's hardest to avoid being seen. Right. At this point, we could probably grenade our way through these stakes, except that that is untraversable, so we would actually still be stuck here. So nope, we need to go in the long way. And this is guarded by Soulless. And I don't believe there's a second way in. So if we did make ourselves visible, this would actually be the hardest part to get through, is this area with all these Soulless. Alright. Carefully. The Soulless don't react to our presence in any way. They will just, as long as we're invisible, they will just continue to patrol back and forth, and as long as we don't bump into them, we're fine. I guess Soulless are deaf or something. Alright. Keep moving.
Move here, move there.
Keep sneaking. And because of one of the mods I have active to get this game to work on my computer at all, this doesn't show up in the display, but we have just gained a special ability. That special ability? The Paradrop Signal Grenade. Throw it here, and it fires a grenade that immediately sends up blue smoke. The blue smoke will cause paratroopers to arrive. Let's get the Dwarven Pathfinder away from the enemy until he has backup. But all of the paratroopers are dwarves. Alright. That was a bit of lag. That's not just going to show up in the recording. That actually happened for real. And we've already lost someone. Because, yes, every unit we get in this entire level is a dwarf. All of them. And remember I said that nearly all of them, that pretty much all the melee units in this level are ghouls? That's going to be a challenge. Fortunately, the Pathfinder has very good accuracy and a significantly longer throwing range than regular dwarves have. Crap. Run. And we lost another one. Yeah, dwarven friendly fire is a bit more of a problem in this level than it is in the others. See what happens. It's like as soon as we turned towards that goal, he noticed that we exist. Yeah. Yeah, we just lost 3 guys basically in the process of arriving. That's the way this level is going to be. Like I said, it requires significantly more micromanagement than usual. Let's go to squads of 3. Rebounds are possible, but since they pretty much only get 1 good shot before they get horribly murdered by ghouls. Okay, so squads of 3 and 1 squad of 2. The way that I normally... And then the Pathfinder can be his own squad. The way that I do this is I have... Like I said, I separate my dwarves into different squads. And then move the squads rather than trying to manage individual dwarves or trying to move the dwarves as one big block. And I set the squads up. I try to set the squads up in position so that they can support each other. In this case, these 3 dwarves are largely acting as decoys to give more of an opportunity for the Pathfinder to get a clear shot.
Casualties.
Well, that just happened. Well, you join the 2-man squad, because you survived. Yeah. Also, each of these dwarves has 8 satchel charges instead of 4, and we're probably going to need quite a few of them. Alright. Let's keep moving, everybody. Okay, just keep moving. This is the general direction we want to be going in. We don't actually have to kill anything in this level. One of the bits of frustration in the original release is this has been fixed by various guides on the internet and stuff, but it really isn't clear what exactly you are supposed to do in this level. There's like, you have the paratroopers, and it's a really cool idea, but they don't make it clear to you what your actual objective is. And so I know, and like I said, they eventually released a guide that one of the things it does is explains that, but even from the narration, you can't really guess what kind of a mission this is very well. So what it actually is, and like the thing you would guess, if you had to guess what you're supposed to do in this mission, would be kill everything. Just hunt down all the enemies and wipe them out. But that's not your actual objective. You have to get to one specific place. And yes, I am. Actually, this is a good opportunity once I've killed these attacking ghouls, to demonstrate that the Dwarven Pathfinder has a second special ability that he gains after using this paradrop signal grenade. Ah, crap. He's about to die, isn't he? Ah, crap. Yes, he is about to die. Oh, he survived. That required a great deal of luck. Anyway, you notice he has these 5 special grenade things. Let's show you what they do. These whites make a good target. Special ability mode. Oh, crap. Run, run. Yeah, this time it has red smoke instead of blue smoke. What does red smoke do? It does that. Yes, we can call in airstrikes. It's less useful than it sounds, because it takes quite a while for the effect to kick in. Alright, let me quick blow up the whites just because I can. Because it takes a while for the artillery strike to actually happen. But it still can be useful. Okay. Now I'm going to attack the ground to take out these stakes because they're in the way. And it apparently will take a couple of tries to actually do so. Alright. Now, I'm going to lay down some satchel charges here. There are a lot of goals we have to take out. Alright. Keep placing them.
Okay. Move here, move there.
That's good enough. Alright. These 3 guys will set up here, so I have this kind of dish formation.
Yes, sir.
And the Pathfinder will stay in the center. Alright. And now, this dwarf's job is to mostly lure the ghouls out here. There's a decently high chance that he'll get killed. The Pathfinder moves slightly faster, so he might be a slightly better choice, but I can't really afford to lose him.
Okay.
So I can't really use him for this.
Move here, move there.
Alright.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And now I'm just going to have the dwarf retreat. And some ghouls are trying to attack me from behind. Alright, that's done. That's did. Now let's take out these. Okay, and keep moving.
Yes, sir.
One important thing is to have dwarves cover each other, so that if ghouls get within a particular dwarf's minimum range, there's a nearby dwarf who can take it out. Who can take them out. However, remember, dwarven attacks do splash damage, and dwarves aren't very smart about controlling their splash damage, so this can very easily get you in trouble. Right. And the much larger ambush that is supposed to happen appears to not be happening. I don't normally use satchel charges in this level, and it may be that there just isn't really a good place to set them. Or that I just set them in a bad place. Alright. Alright. If these ghouls were coming directly after this dwarf, he'd be dead already.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the end of that. I guess we're not going to be able to lure them into a trap, so I'm just going to move everybody in slowly, one by one.
Okay. Move here, move there.
Alright. Because we do need to go through this godforsaken place in order to... Okay, so the Pathfinder's aim doesn't deal very well with hills. That could be a problem, because there are a number of them. However, when he has a straight shot, he is quite accurate. Okay, get this formation, which I can't seem to select no matter what I do, into position. Yeah, the Pathfinder can do a lot of this by himself. The only time he really has issues is if he just doesn't have enough damage to take out all of the enemies at once. That's why it is important to support him at least some, but he can do a lot of the work by himself.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and just keep exploring. Carefully, because it is easy for this to go horribly wrong. I've actually already lost this level once. I'm going to release that as a separate bonus video of just my own miserable failure. Okay.
Okay.
And that is how that is supposed to go. However, several waves of ghouls will come out of this. And there's another... Okay, that's a white. Control. Okay. That works. When dealing with whites, you want to aim at the ground. A slight delay between a grenade reaching its target and it exploding can be enough for you to extend its range a little bit and basically get a white to just walk into it. But you have to be careful when doing that.
Make up your mind. Yes.
There's nothing more down that way. Now, another aspect of this level that, as much as I overall like this level because of just how insane it can get, another aspect of it that I feel like is a sign of somewhat poor design, if it reflects somewhat poor design, is we have to walk into one of these houses. But it does actually matter which one. Only one of them is the level exit. And the rest just have enemies spawn from them. They all look the same. At best, you can maybe remember where it was, but there's no clear indicator. So I'm going to quick test this one, because this one might be it. I'm actually not sure. So what you do is you send a single dwarf in to check to see if it's the correct one, and if it is, you can send everybody else in. You can tell... Yep, that's it. That's the level objective. Yeah, it is somewhat difficult to tell which one is the actual objective. But that is the end of that level. Though there is also a bonus level that you can actually get, and so which whether you get the bonus level or the regular level depends on which exit you used. The exit I used, I'm fairly certain, leads to the bonus level, and I will be demonstrating the bonus level for you all. So, anyway, that's the end of this. That's the end of this part. Obviously, the Pathfinder was the hero. He's way better at this than everyone else. And yeah, nearly everything we killed was ghouls. The whites push it up a little bit, but we didn't really have to fight them. I just blew a whole bunch of them up because they were all in a cage. And yeah, 10 survivors out of quite a few that we got in the first place. We lost almost half our force. So, anyway, that's going to be the end for this part. I'll see you next time with the bonus level, but in the meantime, as usual, this is Science Viking signing off. I love you all, and thank you for watching.